I always thought that it got hot in Kaihawk, but these deserts are proving themselves a worthy contender. Still, it has been more hospitable than the Valley of the Ancients. We were fortunate to discover Inara's sister, though her condition with slip was worrying to say the least. She is stable and healthy as of now, thanks to Inara's medicine-making skills. I have seen severe inflictions of the substance, but the amount she seemingly took is beyond what any sane person would take. We were also fortunate to find this oasis, even if we brought those end cakes upon us. We dispatched it with no losses, thanks to the company I'm traveling with, even if they spend as much time bickering as they do protecting each other. The loss certainly has a hand in guiding us all together and beyond. I hope we might continue to show myself and them the path forward through this crisis. Still, one shouldn't get overwhelmed in grand schemes and worries, and enjoy the moment given to us. The stars and meteor shower were beautiful and uninhibited by a canopy. Equally moving was our ceremony for Sir Harrow. While I only had a glimpse of an interaction with him, from what Sir Stalda said and how she acts, I can tell he was more than a mere comrade in arms. Everyone had something to say, and, for me, affirms that I am in good company. Wasn't the most interesting thing to occur today, but alas, fate had to stumble upon yet another oddity. Not only was there a finger of a large statue in the stand, but it bore my family's sigil upon a ring. Why is it out here in the deserts of Luxoria? Perhaps Mother has answers for me. Hope that she is safe, given what has transpired. Hope Cousin Leanne is well too, and has not come into too much harm. We will find her and the rest of those captured. Sir Staldo and Inara had just flagged down a cart. Perhaps they can help us find who we need and where to go.
We pick back up in the hot desert day. Little cloud coverage as the winds of Luxoria course through your hair as you see just about 500 feet away now, parked, calling to you all, awaiting your approach, this large cart that you all hailed crossing over the same dune as yourselves, just a little in the distance.
You still wish to approach them? She asks Inara.
Yes, I think this is our best option. And she leads the way.
Sherrilyn follows.
You all peel off on horseback. Who else? Is anyone else going?
I look over to Francis.
Francis is still looking at the finger and ring. He knows the cart's there, but he's paying it very little mind as he lets the knight and the alchemist just go off and do their thing.
All right. Well, I will stay here with Francis, I suppose, for the moment. If they are friendly, brings them over.
Inara's going to point to her sister and the other Perian, and she's going to scathingly be like, keep an eye on those two. And then she'll turn and lead Sherrilyn.
I don't think Sherrilyn would draw her weapon, but she'll have a hand on it, the horn in the other.
You all take off on the Medan horseback that you both ride two separate horses. We're leaving the rest of the horses and the rest of your group standing amongst this large pillar, revealing itself to be kind of a finger protruding from the ground, leaving whatever mystery is buried beneath it as Francis and Plato inspect it, while Mikkel, Ward, and Leilani just continue making out, but this time on horseback. And you all ride closer and closer. About 250 feet away, you see someone pop out of the cart. They from a distance, are wearing kind of this complex scarfing, but you see their coloring is blue and dark and feathered. They are definitely an Aarakocran, as you see them fly to the top of their cart and like sit on it, pulling out some sort of instrument. As you get closer and closer, you see it as a telescope. There's definitely a crossbow sat to the right of the man who sits on top of this cart, but he doesn't wield it or anything, as he patiently waits for your approach, watching you through telescope. I'll continue your approach.
Yeah, definitely. Inara wouldn't take the crossbow as a sign of aggression at all. To her, I think would make sense. Someone guarding their caravan in the desert. I think she would also take comfort in the fact that it's an Aarakocran and recognize them as some of the dwellers of the edges of the desert that she grew up in.
Absolutely. As you get closer and closer, his plumage starts to come into view. He is a roadrunner, Aarakocran, with kind of dark blue plumage and a little bit of red sticking through. He has beautiful blue and turquoise. He's taken off whatever scarf he was using to protect the elements as he just kind of sits and waits to greet you all. He waves one wing in your direction. Oh, well met. You see this roadrunner Aarakocran man, one wing raised, hailing you all, waiting for you all to introduce yourselves as you ride closer and closer.
Inara will raise her arm in response and call out, "Good day. Thank you for stopping."
Okay. You sent a signal. Are you all in need?
Absolutely.
How much can I put you down for? And he reaches back into the cart for a second. He hops down from the cart and reaches in. You hear jars clinking.
What is it you have in your cart?
He closes the door. Oh, maybe this is not what I thought it was.
We were looking for help. We are not familiar with traversing the deserts with this small of a group.
He kind of eyes you over. Roll me an insight check.
17 on dice.
Okay, 17. Yeah, I think you can put this together pretty easily here. Where you are at present is right along the Perian border into Luxoria. And you pick up that this man was trying to sell you drugs. He thought you flagged him down to buy drugs from him. This is a man who has a cart full of drugs, and he looks a little nervous as you all were not here to buy drugs from him.
Inara will hold up both hands in sort of like a I mean you no trouble stance and will actually say, "Look, we're not looking to cause any trouble. We are genuinely just trying to get somewhere safely as fast as we can."
We were hoping for some water.
Roll me a persuasion check at advantage with Sherrilyn's assistance.
Persuasion is +1, so 15.
15? Yeah. With the 15, he will... Hey, we're quite a ways from anything meaningful, but I am actively looking for an inn that's supposed to be around here. It is well hidden. If you follow me, I might be able to lead you to it. They should have drinks and a place to sleep for the night. There's supposed to be a bad sandstorm coming in.
Thank you. And again, I appreciate you stopping when you clearly have business to attend to.
We would be glad to follow you.
Inara's going to gesture behind her to where they came from and be like, "We need to go back and get the rest of our party. Would you mind waiting?"
He follows your gesture with his eyeglass that you see unrolls with it. It has like a leather case to it that's still wrapped around it that he kind of holds onto and looks through. Oh shit, that one on the horse. Will you tell him these dark clouds bring hail? He's pointing towards Plato.
That is an odd thing to say. Do you think that is true?
It's not the truth of it that matters, but yes, I would be more than happy to escort you all. I will wait here.
Inara will turn and start leading her horse back to where everyone is.
He takes the time to feed his camels some water and kind of prepare as he stays where he's at.
Sherrilyn will pull back on the reins and the horse will pick up his feet as they slide down this sand dune back to the base of the statue where the rest are waiting. And she would turn the horse to the side so that she could look down at Plato. She would say, "The people in these carts have the strangest message for you."
I'm interested to hear it.
Something about dark clouds bring hail.
Plato looks down across the horizon, I'm assuming seeing no dark clouds. Says, there's a eye. That is good news. Are we following them? Are we making covenants with them?
She narrows her eyes. Hail is good news? Yes, we are following them to potential shelter, if luck holds.
Excellent.
He tells there's a sandstorm approaching, so it would do well for us to find shelter at the inn. But first, and she'll gesture to Plato to follow her, and she'll go to where her sister and her friend are on their horse. I'm assuming they're still actively engaged in their fun activities.
Don't really want to get closer to that.
Yeah, they turn to your attention once you get back. They're more serious when you're physically there, for sure. But they are on one horse, tying up the other one, and moving to a single horse as you spot them.
Inara's gonna gesture to her sister to dismount. I need to talk to you. Get off the horse.
She does so. Am I allowed to? The Ord boy says.
Unfortunately. Get down.
He also gets down.
What is it you're doing, Inara?
Inara's gonna turn back to Plato and be like, this particular caravan is one that carries an unfortunate substance. One that those two might show too much interest
Should
in.
he has more slip?
Who says this?
The Mikkel Ord.
I give him a withering look. I will give him a roll intimidation look.
Yep.
To shut his ass up.
Absolutely.
I've been letting him have his little spring here before he becomes my servant in repentance for his bullshit, but this is a little too much.
Sherrilyn will help him on this by saying, I recommend you hold your tongue if you would like to reach shelter before this sandstorm arrives.
That'll be a 19 plus 4, a 23.
Yeah, he shuts up, just kind of goes completely stone-faced, looks apologetic, towards the ground, ready to listen.
Inara's gonna get really close to her sister's face, and she's gonna start poking her in the chest. Our youngest sister is out lost in the desert. Our mother is a hostage to some sort of cult that wants to sacrifice her and everyone else. I am holding on to everything by a thread, and if I catch you anywhere near the slip, I swear to God, Leilani, I will be the one that kills you, not the drugs.
Promise, I will never touch the thing again.
She glares at her for a second and decides to trust her older sister and turns and leads her back towards the caravans.
Leilani says something to Mikkel in a soft whisper, and then they get on different horses as they begin to follow.
Sherrilyn will round up the saddlebag-laden horses and lead them back towards the cart that will be directing us to shelter.
Yes, Plato will wheel Grizzly around, and I'll try and go to speak to this individual as everyone's sort of loading up and getting situated.
Yeah, go ahead and roll me a luck check as you get closer.
3.
Not very lucky.
As you get closer, you do recognize this man. His name is Rourke. You have previously interacted with him when you have made the trips into Luxoria that you have made for different reasons. He was part of that, for sure. Just occasionally, you probably have met him a single time on one of those runs, but you do recognize him. You've worked with him before. Don't necessarily have like an opinion formed on him. It was just for one leg of the journey when you did a pass off, but you do see him sitting on this cart. He waves your way as you get closer. Are you all almost ready to leave?
Yes, we were just settling a few things. Whether I to you?
Whether I as well. It's been a while since I've said those words. You look well.
I'm doing better than some of those we left behind in the Valley of the Ancients. Some bad things have transpired. You say there is civilization nearby, an inn?
Civilization might be stretching it, but yes, there is a place to stay.
I look over his cart. Does he have the symbol, like the dark cloud symbol, anywhere on it?
No, his cart is like as nondescript as a cart can get. There's no markings or anything. It's a little bit sand weathered, but it's definitely large and made for carrying cargo.
All right, I'm a little suspicious of him, but you're sure that you can get us there?
It should not be far. I've kind of been going in circles looking for it.
Not reassuring.
Did you see, is that statue nearby?
The big finger? Oh, sorry, there's one other thing. You are not to sell any of the slip to anyone in my party.
His face kind of drops, just cold red that he's a huge cart full of drugs behind him that he didn't mention. Go ahead and roll me an intimidation check.
Otherwise, your business will be affected, unfortunately.
You said will be affected or won't be?
Will be affected. Yeah, if he sells it to any of them. You know, it doesn't seem like he's got the markings of the Nimbus, but he's definitely at least doing some business with my people, so that's sort of the angle I'm threatening him from. That'll be a 16 plus 4, unnatural 20.
I promise I won't. if you do not want me to.
I appreciate that.
I'm delivering a large majority of this cargo anyway. I would only be able to sell small portions.
And we will not be interrupting your business. And thank you for your help. I look back over to the party to see that everyone's getting everything together.
Yeah. Do you point out the finger of the statue?
Oh, yes. I point backwards to it if he asked. You did mention a statue. Me and my friends did discover a large finger withering popping out of the desert. Over that rise.
He pulls out a compass in response to that. I don't think it will take us long at all to find the inn then.
That's excellent.
You all gather up, prepare to follow Rourke?
Yes, at this moment, Sherrilyn has approached with the spare horses, and she says, "That is another odd thing to say. Is this statue bearing meaning? Is it pointing us in a direction in particular?"
I think maybe its significance is more that it is a landmark in a desert with very few landmarks.
Rourke pulls his camels forward. They don't move as quickly necessarily as your horses do at full speed on this desert terrain, but they do move fast and are better at handling the sand underneath their feet. As you all follow caravan style up and down these dune hills again. 10 minutes pass by. It is hot. The sun beating down on the back of your necks. As you all continue traveling, the wind hitting you stronger and stronger. You continue forward. And as you do so, Rourke is expertly leading his craft up and down. You hear the clinkings of the many, many bottles in the back of the cart on every single down motion of the dune, as it just seems that thing is just chock full. It didn't take that long to get between the different waves and crests, but now there's a lot more space between them as you guys reach a more flat part of the dune sea. And after a little bit longer of travel, you spot a section of dune that looks like there's an extra dune here as it goes over a large amount of flat space. And then in the center of the flat space, there's another dune that breaks the pattern that you guys have been walking. And Rourke reaches a finger out of his window and points towards it. Full speed, everybody! And he whips forth his camels and he begins leading you all forward to this dune. And you see him just full speed hit the side of the dune and you watch him disappear.
Is that what's supposed to happen?
Into the dune, and then the entire cart goes.
Just follow.
You're putting a lot of faith into this man.
Do you see a lot of other options available right now?
Fortunately, no.
And she kicks her horse into a gallop and follows him.
As you do so, you lead the pack here. As just for a second or two, you feel sand wrap around you, and then you emerge. It is cooler here. And you see inside of this dune, there's a loose tarping that seems to hold some sort of sand above you, but there is a hideaway within that's covered by illusions and this tarp that holds the sand. There are 4 structures here underneath this dune housed within this hidden corral. The largest of which is a large wooden and metal building that seems to extend into the ground, that at the top of it has a sign that reads, "The Smugglers Djinn," with the "in" part capitalized. The Smugglers Djinn. To the left, there is a large stable that currently has quite a few camels at it. You also see parked at this stable an Ankeg, one of the large beasts that you fought, with a saddle. He has like a series of nets over his face that like holds his mouth shut and can only open so wide, so forth, as well as a set of control nets along its back. There is a very, very large cart that is already parked to the left that has a bunch of beautiful art and murals on it, as well as the words "Liturgy." There is a hut, this spherical hut. And Nara, I think you probably heard of something like this before. It's a den where recently they've been popping up more for people to do slip in. It's a closed off space that's to the right here that you recognize as an opium den sort of thing, as well as behind all 3 of these structures, a massive herb garden that seems to extend to the end of the dune and take up a majority of the space here. There are at least 70 signs immediately visible in almost every language that says "do not touch," "keep out of the garden," "no picking," just as many warning signs as there could possibly be to not interact with this herb garden at all. That dominates a majority of the space.
Does Inara recognize the herbs themselves? Like, do they look like something particularly dangerous or foreign, or is it just regular plants?
It would take you so long to look through all of these many, many herbs. You recognize some immediately that are, but there are thousands of different variants here. Herbs you've never seen before, for sure.
Okay, so a lot of it does look foreign to her. Okay.
And so this is sort of the structure of this is kind of like if you were making a pillow fort and you had a sheet between two couches and we're sort of in the space between. Is that the structure of it between these two dunes?
The tarp lets in a lot more light than that from the inside. You can actually kind of pretty clearly see the outside of it from within. It's much more illusion than it is practical. It isn't a physical piece. It's like an enchantment that keeps the sand on top of it to keep the appearance of a dune, but you can't see through it.
There's like speckles of light coming in. But I will excuse Rock to do his business I'm assuming he's already headed in some direction.
He's headed to park his cart next to this other large cart that says liturgy. It is important that you stable your animals here. The fee is a bit ridiculous, but it is part of it.
I look back at the 8 horses.
How significant are we talking?
He points to a little sign. On top of that sign is a little meerkat wearing a black bow tie.
How rude of us. Hello. Are you the valet for the stable?
Valet's kind of the wrong word, because I tried steering the horses before and they kicked me right off. But I am here in case you have any questions. But please park your horses away from the ant egg.
That makes sense.
We have some experience with that. They seem to like to snack on them.
The one horse in particular that was being thrown around by an NKEG just not many hours prior, probably looking warily at this domesticated NKEG.
It's going to be 5 gold apiece for each horse.
That's ridiculous.
I look over at Sherrilyn.
That is more money than most peasants would see in a year.
You are not an inn for peasants.
Inara will smile at this conversation as she puts a hand out to Sherrilyn's shoulder. It's okay. This isn't that kind of place.
Second meerkat runs up and climbs up the sign. He wears a white bow tie.
Is there a problem here?
No, not at all. Inara is still dressed from the party, so she actually has a lot of earrings with jewels and gold on them, necklaces. And she'll take off a bracelet that's inlaid with a small ruby that could easily be 50, 75 gold. And she'll hand it out and be like, would this do as payment?
I'll have to ask my supervisor.
He turns around and makes a large whistle, and a third, slightly larger, meerkat with a red bow tie climbs up the side.
We do not work in trade.
Really? I thought places like this always were up for,
The
deals.
mistress of the house says gold only, but I'll take the ruby.
Do what with?
Just to have. I like red. It's my favorite color.
Is there a place we could pawn the jewelry then?
Maybe someone inside will want to buy it.
Someone will have to stay with the horses.
Hold on. She'll start rifling through her bags.
Wait. Could we sell you the horses?
She gives you a death glare.
What? What are we going to do with them?
Sherrilyn argues you'd like to leave these horses in the middle of the desert in a den with an NKEG who almost killed them.
Leave them? No, I would like to get paid for them.
To be fair, the Ankeg's just passing through.
All the meerkats look at each other.
We don't have any need for horses.
Yes, what are these things? She points at the things that look like horses with humps on
My
their
name is
back.
Tony.
No, she means
No,
the
no,
camels.
not you, sir.
She's never been.
Our friend here is new to the desert. I'm so sorry. Tony, Jerry. And then she'll turn to the third one and...
Chartreuse.
Okay. And then looking at Sherrilyn, we'll go through the whole animal kingdom thing in a minute.
They have toes.
And bow ties.
They all fix their bow ties up in exact unison.
Not you.
Once again, she's looking at the camels, but you are fascinating little creatures.
Inara's going to pull out her coin bag, realizing that this is going to derail a lot faster than she was expecting. She's just going to hand over the gold.
35 gold pieces, please.
Inara just counts out the 35 gold, hands it over to him.
They take it one at a time because that's all they can hold, and they kind of pass it off to each other, and then the third one runs down the step, puts it in a little pile.
They have such a system.
Well, it works for them.
That was very kind of you, Lady Inara. Do you always have such wealth on your persons?
Yes.
Yes. The short answer is yes.
I see.
Maybe we should discuss this when we have a little more privacy.
Yes, I just meant to say that was very generous, and thank you.
You're welcome, but this is more about us getting through this unscathed.
I quite agree.
Which we need the horses for.
Yes,
Never
Plato, we
mind.
need the horses.
Never mind, let's go.
Rourke finishes parking his cart and his camels, and overhears the last bit of this. Hey, can I buy one of those horses off of you? I'm going to be leaving the cart here, and the horse seems faster than the camel in the way I'm going.
So technically, they belong to Stalda here.
She bows to him. Yes, they are my people's horses. I raised them and trained them. She is very affectionate of these horses.
Well, I'm about to collect quite a large amount of gold. How much do you want for a horse?
Well, let's see. What do I think is fair for a horse? You see, a horse from any other place might be worth much less, but these are trained war horses.
You hear beautiful music start to begin in the background coming from the central building.
Is there a standardized amount that a horse is worth in 5th edition? I see. Riding horse costs 75. Well, if it's a riding horse, like Harkin would be, then it would be 75 standard. So she's trying to upsell this horse as much as possible. It's a gray and black dappled horse. Currently, it has that chitinous armor on it. It has come quite a long way, and as I was saying, it is extremely well trained. So if I was to put a price tag on it, I would say no less than 80 gold.
That is fine. Completely doable.
She looks in disbelief at that. Really?
Yes. Let me just go collect my gold, and then I will have it for you.
She squints a little bit. She wasn't expecting this. She thought that maybe he was going to haggle, maybe thinking that someone like him would have had less gold in their possession, and then thinking, perhaps I should have haggled more.
Seeing her shock, Inara's gonna approach her and whisper, I wouldn't underestimate the people that you meet here in any way.
Well, fine. But I suppose there is some truth to what Mr. Ardavian said, which is that it is extremely difficult to care for these horses as we cross the desert, and perhaps this is better.
I agree. And I'm sure he will take good care of it. His survival relies on it as much as it relies on him.
I supremely hope so.
Okay, well, now that the horses are taken care of, perhaps we should also go find a place to rest and figure out our next steps.
I would like to get out of the sun, yes. Plato's been occasionally, I think I can do it once an hour, freezing his arm. Well, he probably does it every other hour because otherwise he might risk frostbite from how close the arm is held to his shoulder. But he's like doing it and sort of rubbing on his face or across his chest. But he's definitely gotten pretty badly sunburned.
Are we headed inside?
Yes, please.
The music is spilling out. It's very fast, up-tempo violin music throughout this interior of the dune. As you all enter, the music becomes much louder. And you can see the structure itself heads underground. You kind of have to walk down this set of stairs. But you can see from this upper balcony the person playing the music. And there is a person as well dancing to the music. Kind of body dancing with 9 scarves that she wields around her. And she's doing a very impressive dance in the center of the room here. This place isn't that occupied. There's about 8 people to your count inside, besides the bartender. The bartender is a massive woman made entirely of this dark clay, except for this long blonde hair that looks like it's made of sand, like shifts like sand as she turns. This is a earth genie, specifically a Dao, earth elemental Djinn, who is actively hard at work behind the bar as you guys enter. As it seems to be an entire troupe here of musicians, as this bard plays hard on a violin and the dancer dances in tune. Immediately as you enter the space, it is so much colder than it is outside. It's really cool down under the earth here, and it seems the proprietor likes to keep it cool. As you make your way down the staircase, you see, talking in a corner, there is a large Loxodon man, an elephant man, speaking with a booming voice to a bugbear, as well as a dragonborn who's completely dressed up in armor. He's kind of celebrating, and their table is covered with empty glasses as the people in the center of the room dance and play music. There are a couple of folks at the bar who seems to be drinking. No one seems to really note your presence yet among all the merriment as you all walk into the space.
This is the first time in a while, in a couple of days, that Sherrilyn has been parted from her horse and, in a way, parted from constant responsibility and distractions. So I think she would be glad to take a seat at a table and just kind of slump over onto her elbows, letting out a deep sigh of relief that she can unwind for just a moment.
Plato pauses for a moment as he enters and stops right here. Is there any way at all I can try and eavesdrop on whatever the people in the booth are talking about as I pass by?
Yeah, go ahead and roll me a perception check as you all head down towards these stairs.
17 plus 0. 17.
It went so smooth. I mean, the show of a lifetime, right? We were in and out with applause.
He's definitely recanting some sort of recent success. And now all we have to do is deal with this guy. He kind of laughs and points at the dragonborn in the armor, and then he gives a speech to the person next to him. Batty No Shoes. Without you, none of this would have been possible. Batty No Shoes, when I first met you, all those years ago, I knew it was going to be something special. You pick up immediately, this man is very, very drunk. Sherrilyn, you make your way down the stairs. Doesn't take long for the bartenders start making their way. Everyone else filling this room. Mikkel and Leilani kind of pick a table for themselves and are not necessarily a fight, but they seem to be having a deep discussion among them that they wanted to continue and are choosing to do so now. As you all enter this bar, the music comes to a stop as you all fill this space. The bard who is playing it stops for a second, reaches over and takes a large drink from a drink that is sitting at the bar. The dancer kind of continues in her rhythm, not missing a beat despite the music itself stopping. He's going to walk over and join the other folks at the booth, taking a break from playing music for a bit. They all kind of eye you. No one says anything directly until the elemental bartender finishes what she's doing. Oh, new guests! Welcome all to the Smuggler's Djinn. It's great to have you all.
Inara's gonna walk in. She's gonna give her sister and the Ord boy a glance and make sure they're not causing any trouble, I guess. And will actually look a little surprised at the fact that for once they look to be having a serious conversation. Choosing to respect her sister's privacy, she's going to walk up to the bar. Hi, good day. And she's going to greet the bartender. Great place you have here.
Thank you so much. It's my little home away from home. I've been working hard to build it up. I am Enka, the Majestic. It's great to have you all here. What are all your names?
I am Inara. I come from Wahid al-Ahlam. I don't know if you've been.
I've been quite a few times. Maybe my favorite city in the region.
Mine too, although I really am enjoying your space here.
Hey, thank you. I crafted everything you see, even the metal, all myself. I've been working on it for quite a while. And our menu offers quite the array of drinks. And you see, my pure specialty is cocktails, herbal cocktails. And I have hundreds of them now.
Well, that explains all the plants outside. And are there menus on the bar, or does she have to ask for one?
Yeah, there's a large chalkboard behind her that just has a ton of stuff written on it. Just more and more additions, words you've never seen, names of herbs you've never heard of before, promising to be utilized somehow in these different cocktails.
Inara starts reading through the menu. She looks a little confused, but also like she can't decide which one she wants to try. Well, they all sound really fascinating.
Thank you. These barbarians over there, they've just been drinking ale. They call themselves dramaturges, but they can't appreciate the fine cocktail. Anyway, we also offer slip at the most inexpensive price in the region. That's something I've been really working
hold up
on.
A hand. No, thank you. I appreciate the offer, but we have a long journey ahead of us, and we can't risk being distracted.
If you're staying here for the night, I mean, a small dose might help relax. I'm just getting a shipment in today. Actually, work now walks in. There's my guy. Comes up to the bar as well. Usually I'm a little more discreet than that, Enka. Usually they don't just shout, there's my guy, and point at me when I enter the room. But, hey, yes, it's me, Rourke. Your shipment is outside. And she reaches down and pulls out a large sack of gold. that she passes over to work. Well done. Third in a couple months. And maybe, he says as he looks towards Plato for just a second. And then he takes the gold and he goes off to the other booth here and he's going to count out 80 gold pieces for a horse. That's what he's up to. Yes, if you want, I can just pick one. Maybe one of my favorites.
That sounds wonderful. Please.
I forget, the Tabaxi, what can you survive, like poison-wise?
Odd
Some of you have
question to
very
ask.
delicate constitutions. I'm not making the same mistake twice.
Actually, I think Inara would surprise her a little bit by starting to list off like a decent amount of different plants and substances that she has tried ingesting. Anything she's gotten her hands on. I don't know if, to be fair, a lot of the herbs that I saw outside walking in were foreign to me. But I have tried some of the wolf shade, the Cairo root, the death rose, the blood cactus, and I seem to do okay with all of those.
Plato's just looking at her like, you're poisoning yourself, huh? Just all the time. Fine.
Francis, as the list gets longer and longer and longer, he just looking at her like, how are you still standing?
Well, I usually have some form of antidote on hand.
Do you still have those?
I don't need them anymore. That's the whole point.
What could that possibly mean?
You see, she goes to work behind the bar. So much magic, probably some unnecessary steps. Honestly, you see there's a point where she kind of manifests some pebbles out of thin air and puts them in a mixer and then like uses them to beat some sort of herb into submission. But she's taking a very long time making this drink, as you all said at the bar.
From her table, where she has been brooding, processing everything that's happened in the past couple of days, Sherrilyn is watching the dancer with intrigue, and she waits until the dancer looks in her direction, and then she holds up a gold coin between two fingers.
I think she'd approach you. She doesn't stop dancing. She's a flurry of scarves. She's more of an acrobat than she is a dancer, as her body contorts as she kind of spins as she crosses the floor towards you.
As she gets closer, she brushes the back of the gold coin with her thumb, and now there are two gold coins between her fingers, and she places them on the table and slides them across to her.
She takes them. She's wearing only like two pieces right now, and she puts them in the kind of the brassiere that she's wearing as she continues dancing. She kind of bends over backward over the table, like laying her back on the table, looking at you in the face, and she says, "Why, thank you." And she bends herself back and does like a full front flip as she returns to her dance.
I don't think I've ever seen a creature quite like you. You're quite beautiful.
Thank you. I am refining my work. I belong to this artist collective. We call ourselves the Turgy.
An artist collective. Do you travel or do you stay here to perform?
Oh, we travel all over the place. We were just in Dar al Yakin, putting on a show for the students. We had quite a good time.
You seem to enjoy what you do.
Oh, more than anything. The freedom of dance, the freedom of expression. It's life-changing.
I think it would be very obvious to Sherrilyn that this dancer is also on slip, given how freely they talk about it here. I mean, she's definitely heard it mentioned 3 or 4 times just after getting here from various individuals. So I think her next question would be, where did you get that from?
Get what from? My dance moves?
She cants her head to the side and raises her eyebrows. I think you know what I'm talking about. You don't need to be coy with me.
The bartender. This is the cheapest place we've found so far.
Holy shit, the paladin's gonna get high!
I did the whole intimidation thing, and she's just like, I'm gonna buy drugs.
Hey, the rules don't apply to her. We've already figured that out.
No, I obviously haven't. I don't think I've clocked Sherrilyn doing this yet, because I think I've been creeping closer and closer to the Turgy.
They call me the Shadow. What is your name, beautiful?
She goes to start saying her title because I feel like that's a learned response, and then she cuts herself off and shakes her head. You can just call me Sherrilyn.
Well, Sherrilyn, are you staying here for the night?
Yes, it would appear so. I hear there's a storm coming.
Well, I paid extra for a room for myself.
Is that an invitation?
Do you like to dance?
I love to dance.
Then yes,
Then I'll see you later tonight.
I'll be here. She does a backflip.
She would slide out of the stool that she'd been sitting at, and she would approach the bar, taking a seat between Plato and Inara, using her pauldron to shove Plato slightly far enough away for her to fit in.
I like to think that Inara got her drink like halfway through that interaction, so she was sipping on it as she turned around to look at the room, clocked what was happening, and was so proud of Sherrilyn that she like made sure no one interrupted. Like if Plato or Francis even thought about getting up, she made sure they were on their seats. And so as you're walking up to them, she's giving you the most approving grin.
The drink that you have is, it's kind of a work of alchemist art, right? It is a combination of herbs and liquor designed to make you feel excellent in as many ways as it can. And it has been handcrafted, selected, blended for you. The different textures in it are a little weird. There's a lot of stuff in here. It's like an herb smoothie mixed with liquor that's kind of shaken. It gets a little bit hard to get used to, but each sip, you just feel it has the potential to just make you feel pure euphoria as you keep drinking and drinking it.
So I feel like Inara's in heaven right now. Like, first of all, the atmosphere, this is something she's always wanted to experience. Going out and trying one of those dens that her mother wouldn't let her be caught dead in. But also the drink, the alchemy involved in it. And then the fact that Sherrilyn is like going out, experiencing new things. So she'll turn to the bartender and be like, "Can I please get one for my friend, but maybe a non-toxic one?" She says as she turns to look at Sherrilyn and realizing there's no way in hell this woman has ever ingested any poisonous materials.
Non-toxic, she says with a bit of a chuckle as she takes a seat beside you. She notes there's that glistening in your eyes, and she says,
Her
"Looks
tail's
like you're
also
having a good time."
twitching insanely. Like, it's all, like, it keeps hitting your stool, Francis's stool. Like, she has no control over it.
I think she'd probably be used to your tail getting in the way by this point. You've shared horseback so many times. She would just be using one arm to just plate it away slightly so that it wasn't literally slapping the tabletop or the drinks on the tabletop, sliding Inara's glass a little further away so that her tail doesn't catch it.
It's hard to get a high elf drunk. I've tried it many times, but what can I get you?
You have anything that resembles wine?
Yes, I have wine.
Oh, she looks very surprised at that. Do you have do you have Medean wine by chance?
I can best imitate the grapes. I tried my best.
That would be perfect. And there is something else I was hoping you could get for me.
Slip?
Yes.
Absolutely. We have the best prices. It'll be 3 gold HR.
Wait, what was that?
Francis is going to immediately snap his attention to Sherrilyn. It's like, did you just order that?
Here's your slip. She puts a jar right in front of you, and now I'll make you a drink.
Yes. Is that so surprising?
Well, for one, yes, and also we just spent half a day getting those two, and he'll like point back to Lilani and the old boy.
Mikkel is crying.
We'll deal with them later, but we've just spent like half a day treating her sister on that, and now you want to go ahead and take it yourself.
To be fair, Francis, my sister intentionally overdosed.
Yes, I was going to say this also insanely.
Well, then let me follow up that. Sherrilyn, have you ever had slip before?
Well, to answer your first query, they are young and irresponsible, and I am not. And have I had slip before? Not slip per se, but I may have consumed some other substances in my lifetime.
The first part of your response, Inara, was like nodding along, like fully supportive. And then when you went ahead and were like, you've tried other substances, she immediately freezes and turns to look at you like, what the fuck? Really? Out of all of us, I never would have expected you to be the experimental kind.
I enjoy having a good time like everyone else.
Inara swings an arm around your shoulder like you're her new best bud. And you're like, we're going to have such a fun night.
Plato just remembers how young they are how young Inara is. He hasn't really figured out the elf thing.
Silly elves.
Are you looking at her incredulously, Plato?
I think a little. I mean, he hasn't said anything. Like he was definitely surprised to see you order it, but you're an adult, and if Plato is about anything, it's about letting people learn their own lessons.
Mr. Ardavian, I am 40 years old. Don't let my looks deceive you. I know there's no wrinkles on my face or thinness to my hair, but I am 40. And this would not be the first time that I have ingested something like this, and very capably took care of myself afterwards.
Yes, you are older than me, so you do as you will. And you sort of look at Plato with his graying hair. He's just been washed out, obviously older looking than you, and doesn't, he looks away.
The years have not been kind to you, friend.
It was hard. That was things we had to get done. And he's still looking over at the Turgy.
Yeah, I think on this look over at the Turgy, one of them gets up and approaches you. Hey, buddy! Hey, it is the bard, specifically, who is playing the music, who approaches you. A human man with long brown hair, paler complexion, a leather outfit head to toe. Good-looking man. Symmetrical faces. Hey, buddy, we couldn't help but notice you looking over at us a couple times. Are you a fan?
Yes, actually, I could not believe my eyes. You are the Turgy, correct?
Yes. In fact, I am Goodrick Bosch, as I'm sure you know, the amazing bard. This is Darshel Wren, the monologuist. I can't believe we met the fan so far out here in such a hidden place. That's crazy. Where have you seen our work?
Plato is not a fan, obviously. He was just trying to open a avenue of conversation here. Do these individuals look in their makeup to be mostly Luxorian?
I'm not too sure. I'd say the bard you're talking to definitely seems Luxorian in origin. I would say the style of dress of the Luxodon, the Egyptian man, definitely reads more as Honhop, as a member of that country.
Okay, this is my question. Is there any way I can make a history check to see if I can find a place they'd be likely near here? I think Massa Noir was the city down to the university town to the south. That would be my best guess.
I mean, I think the conversation you overheard earlier was that they performed in Dala Yakin, which is on like the eastern point. Give me a history check.
12 plus 2, 14.
Yeah, so with that, their other performances probably were mostly Honhapian, given where they came from.
I don't need anything more specific than that, and I'm guessing I can't get it from that history check. So I'll say, not so long ago, I heard of a performance in Honhop when I was traveling there for vacation, and I write theater reviews, mostly in Breg previously, but I had heard of your performance here near Dalayakin and thought, maybe I will run into them and look how fate steers you into desert.
Yeah, roll me a persuasion check.
I'll even do deception if you'd like.
Deception's good. Do deception, and then I need an insight check as well.
All right, because I'm proficient in deception. All right, only 10 plus 4 for deception. And then you said insight? I'm less insightful. 15 plus 0.
Yeah, he totally seems to buy it. He is really, really excited about everything you're saying. And then you say the part about hearing about the show in Dahlia King, and he looks nervous. Like there's a second or two that his demeanor kind of fades away and he looks nervous. And it kind of fades back. I am so happy. Which of us is your favorite?
I've always been a man with music in my heart.
He smiles and pats you on the back. I'll buy your next drink.
Excellent. I turn back to Enga the Majestic and I say, do you have anything that would act as sort of a topical analgesic? Something that would numb my skin when I drank it?
She smiles. Yes.
Excellent. One of those, please.
She actually has to go get some herbs from her garden that she doesn't have on hand here for that specific request. So she's going to go outside. She does finish your drink, which is just a tall glass of wine and kind of like this flute that she pours out of a homemade bottle. There wasn't even a label on it, but she does pour it into a large glass for you and put it in front of you.
Which I'm assuming is a white wine. So she would pick this up and take a sip. She'd make this, face. Like, actually, it's pretty good. Not as good as she's used to, but yeah, it's passable. She seems to enjoy it. And then she sets it back down, and she picks up this jar with a slip in it. So what does it look like?
It's definitely a viscous substance. As you swirl it around in the jar, it's almost like mucus.
She catches the bartender as they deliver the wine, and she leans forward on the counter, tilting this jar of slip back and forth. How many doses is this?
Just one.
Just one, this whole thing?
You're a high elf.
Yes, well, I'm a responsible high elf.
I would give less to him. He's a human. I think. What is that arm?
Wet.
When he says that, Inara giggles so hard that she falls off of her stool.
Francis is going to try and catch her before she falls.
She's gonna turn and be like, thanks, buddy. This drink is definitely getting to her.
He just is like, you're welcome, and just like slowly pushes her back up and gives her a pat in the back.
She immediately takes up another huge drink.
He's going to look between Inara and Sherrilyn, and then look back at the table with Lilani and Mikkel, and he's gonna look at the bartender and be like, "Do you have anything kind of like a hard liquor?"
I have whiskey, vodka, most liquors.
Ooh, do you have Ada?
Yes.
Give him some.
A shot? Okay. I still have to go get the tingly skin stuff from my herb garden, though. Can I just...
Go right ahead. And she's going to twirl in her seat just a little too fast. But thanks to her cat abilities, she's going to catch herself and look at her sister's stable to see what's going on.
Mikkel's face is fully in his hands, as you can see tears like fighting their way through, and she's rubbing his back and whispering something in his ear.
Definitely nosy, wants to know what's going on, so she's gonna grab her drink off the bar and saunter over, sit at one of the other chairs at the table and be like, what did I miss?
My sister, we were just talking about how there are many possible futures for people, and that maybe because of a night of passion, it doesn't necessarily mean that two folks' future are completely entwined. That there's a lot of room to explore out there. And
Come on, idiot. Look around. Did you see the dancer? Would you like a couple of gold coins? Maybe you can have a fun night with her. And she's like absolutely just out here offering to buy him a night with the belly dancer.
True love, and her name is Leilani.
You see your sister just does a full eye roll and like puts her hand in her hand. I got this, sister. Just let me know if we're leaving or anything.
We're spending the night here before we move on tomorrow. We have to make sure the sandstorm has passed before we can head anywhere, really. So, good luck, she says, and outwardly laughs at her sister as she walks away.
She just does a deep sigh as you leave.
You ordered your drink, but you haven't gotten it yet, Francis, correct?
Inara actually ordered something for Francis, and now he is waiting for the wonderful drink that the poison-filled tabaxi ordered for him.
So cute.
She'd open the lid and go, and like sniff it.
Briny.
This is much less elegant than I'm accustomed to, but here goes nothing. And then she tips the jar back and she'll swallow the hold of it so that she doesn't taste it as much as possible.
The effects are almost immediate, as not the severe ones, but the minor ones. As you see your hand, it's kind of leaving a path in the air. Just a second or two. It takes a second for your vision to catch up to your movements. A smile spreads across your lips against your will as it overtakes you.
She waves her hand back and forth, observing this interesting, colorful trail that she's leaving when she does it. That is very interesting.
For just a second or two, your vision goes away, and you see all of Medea from the sky. And then it pops back in, and you see just the folks around you, and again, like hats racing on your body parts as you move around. You realize how much fun the dancer must be having with all those scarves around her and the light show she must be creating for herself under the effects of this drug.
She screws her eyes shut for a moment. She tries to shake away this blip of a vision that she is experiencing, refocusing on the moment and the colors that each movement of each person is leaving behind, and in awe of the dancer.
You see her now. She's with the rest of the Turgy, all kind of sat around this booth in quiet conversation, staring at Plato, actually, in this moment. All of them, as you look over, all of them are looking at Plato.
Her gaze lazily drifts in the direction of Plato and the Turgy, and how they're all staring at each other in this moment. And she leans on the counter and calls out to him, "Are you making friends, Mr. Ardavian?"
Ardavian? Now that's a name I know. You see the Loxodon man stand to his full height. He's almost 7 feet tall, as he kind of moves the other members of the Turgy out of the booth so he can get his way. Is that name true? Are you really an Ardavian?
Yes, consider it sort of secondary to my business here now.
Which side?
Oh, the Abolitionist side.
Great. We're happy to have you here.
I'm happy to see you too.
As he turns back and gives a thumbs up to the shadow behind him, who had this like face of fury across that melts back away as she does that. Sorry, we still live in this curse. We know. Great to meet you. Thank you for all you've done for everybody. You said you're also a theater reviewer.
Yes.
Now that's interesting. I would think if a member of the Ardavian house was a theater reviewer, with my memory and how much I've traveled, especially in Perian, I would know about that. Is this recent?
Yes, and I am not very good.
Well, why don't you give us an interview? Write about us. We want to go into Perian. We haven't had the opportunity yet. Maybe your article will be our next big break. Come, sit with us.
Yes, that's what I was hoping as well. Pop in. Gosh, not in the middle. This guy goes into the booth first, right?
Yeah, this bugbear gentleman, he actually says, Betty, why don't you make some space for us?
Has Enka come back with my drink yet? Just out of here.
Yes, in this moment, Enka comes back in. Her arms are just completely full of herbs. She floats off the ground, a mini sandstorm underneath her waist as she flows over her establishment. I have a lot of stuff I want to try on this one.
Excellent. I'll be over at the table. Sherrilyn, you will be all right? I look over Sherrilyn's shoulder at Inara and Francis.
She does have this very uncharacteristic smile, not the cocky smirk that you're used to seeing, more relaxed, like a rosiness on her cheeks. Her eyes are half lidded. She looks relaxed, you might say, for the first time in several days. I'll be quite fine, Mr. Ardavian. I'm very capable of handling myself. Thank you for asking.
Inara waves at you behind Sherrilyn's back and like mouths, "I got her."
And then Francis will wave behind both of them with a thumbs up and say, I got both of them.
You slide into the booth.
I take out I have my book that I've been mostly making cartography notes in, but I split it to an open page as if I'm a journalist who does this all the time.
The large Loxodon man, his face covered with these red tattoos, these golden earrings and accoutrements, as well as his yellow robe mixed with these darker leather patterns. My name is Darshel Wren. I am the monologuist of the Turgy. Please, have a seat.
Thank you for your hospitality.
This guy moves over to the other side, across from you.
That's the Dragonborn in full armor.
I can't really make out any of his details, but definitely Dragonborn based on the posture. So, what questions do you have for the great Turgy? You see the Loxodon raises a large glass, takes a big sip.
Yes, absolutely. So you all as a troupe have disparate practices. Some would say monologuists, dancing, music. They cannot all be combined in one act. How do you find the room to all, appreciate each other and create the act together?
Well, every single member of the Turgy brings something special to the team. Look at beautiful Goodrick Bosch. He's not only just a bard, but the prettiest face you've ever seen. And I could not charm people the way that he does. Our act is layered, we all have a role to play, and I think none of what we do would be possible without each and every one of us.
Absolutely. And what about this fellow here? I indicate the Dragonborn across from me in all armor.
Well, he's just a guest.
How interesting to see him drinking here with you. And I know you had a
You
show.
feel a tap on your foot, like light against the front of your foot
I
as the
look down to see
dragonborn.
if there's a meerkat. Oh, it's the dragonborn.
You feel like the heavy metal foot like make contact with your foot and stay there as the conversation goes. So Loxodon unaware of this as he talks above the table.
I look across at this individual.
Can't make out any features.
I'm just wondering if I should try and talk to them telepathically. I will say, as at the same time, to out loud, I'll say, so how was your show was it Dalat Yakin?
The crowd, we might forget that one. The crowd, they were more educated, very smart folks. Our material didn't play as much. Let's just forget we were even there. Who even told you that the Turgi was in that city?
I just overheard. And at the same time, in my...
The foot is now stomping on your foot.
Yeah, I
like,
will...
Not like hard, just like tapping.
Telepathically, as I was saying that last thing, say to this individual across from me in their head, if you need to discuss something with me, we can meet over by the bottom of the stairs.
The helmet kind of looks to the left and right. What is it? Oh, cleric of the lover. What is it? The Loxodon says, seeing the guy like kind of look panicked. You need to use the restroom? All right, let's go. We'll be right back. Interview will continue then.
Yes, of course. If you'll give me one moment, I need to speak with my companions.
He kind of escorts him as they walk in the back hallway. The Loxodon leads. You see the helmeted man look back at you. No expression, but he walks pretty slowly as he shambles forward.
I go back over to the group and hang out by the bottom of the stairs, unassumingly.
Sounds good. The bard and dancer have started playing their music and dancing again. In this moment, Sherrilyn, you hear, so we're close now, yes?
She turns her head. She's been leaning quite heavily on her hand and thus her elbow. Her head feels heavy but light. Like, it feels physically heavy, but her thoughts are quite absent. So she's lazily turning back and forth, looking for the source of this voice.
As you turn, you blink once and your eyes open again, and you see cracked blue crystal cliffs extending into the distance, a canyon. You feel the chair underneath you, and instead of the bar stool that was uncomfortable, you feel a cushioned caravan cart, and you see the source of the voice right next to you, just a foot away. Diana.
She's fixated on this image of Diana, trying to drink in every detail of her, which I imagine, given the effects of the drug, is quite vivid. Like, colors are brighter. She's more beautiful than she remembers her, even.
Well, not far at all. Just a day or two and we'll be in Perian proper. You feel coming from the position, that voice came from your mouth.
Was it a masculine voice?
Yeah, low, deep, masculine voice.
She tries to look down, as if she were this person. She tries to look down at her lap to see the hand that's laying on their thigh.
Red, scaly.
She feels the autonomy of this person in this moment, like she's inside of their body and can puppet this body, and forces herself to look from Diana again at the blue crags of this cliff, trying to get a memorable picture of the exact position that they're in, and the arc of the sun, if it's visible through clouds at this moment.
It is setting. And roll me a perception check.
15.
There is running water. As you look down, there's a river filling that canyon, coming from the blue and black crystal cliffside. The sun is setting. Best guess, on the border of Perian and Luxoria, heading into Perian. Do you say anything?
Yes, not speaking as this person intentionally, but rather vocalizing her inner thoughts in this moment. She'd say, "I'm coming for you, Diana."
You hear your own voice say that, and you watch Diana's shock of recognition spread across her face. What? What did you just say? And you find yourself in the center of the dance floor of the Smugglers Djinn, just going wild, your limbs flailing across the ground. Coming back from the loo, the restroom, we have the armored man who is leading and is immediately sat back down into the booth, sits back down in the booth, followed by the Loxodon, who sits next to him. And this time, the armored man sits far in the end of the booth, and the Loxodon sits where he was, kind of across from your position.
Perfect. Well, I will, seeing this, I will... Okay, let me double check some wording on a spell real quick. I am going to move back over to continue the thing. I'll pass by Sherrilyn, sort of try and get a sense of what her situation is.
Your drink, sir. The genie finally hands it to you.
Thank you.
It is so many different colors and textures and grains. There's so much shit in it. Unbelievable amount of ingredients in this large goblet.
Yes, he takes a drink from it immediately.
Yeah, it has the feeling of on your body immediately as it goes down. It's kind of grainy, but the flavor is fine. Almost tropical-esque, like artificial tropical flavor as it goes down. But it feels immediately like your body is covered in capsaicin cream as it just begins to like kind of heat and then relax and heat and then relax.
This is excellent. Exactly what I wanted. Thank you. I sip the drink as I head back over to the booth. And I will just very quickly... I think you can cast Detect Thoughts, and it initially just probes the surface thoughts, right? Yeah. I just want to cast a quick Detect Thoughts on, who should it be?
So you just cast it, and then you can focus it in on different people in the room. You don't cast it on somebody.
Cool. That sounds excellent. I didn't know that. Yeah, concentration up to a minute. Yeah, I wanted to just quickly probe the minds of the Luxodon first, and then this cleric across from me. It seems like they've got something going on, and I want an in on it.
Yeah, who do you start with?
The Luxodon.
Yeah, the Luxodon is thinking, I can't believe this might actually be an open door to Perian. I mean, our art style really hasn't worked there before, and that's all you get on like a surface level.
That's fair. I've distracted him with my sing. And this other fellow, person, I don't know his agenda.
Please, God, help me. Help me. Help me. Help me, please. Please. The lover, hear my prayer. Help me. Help me. The lover, hear my prayer. Help me.
So having used my psychic power on this individual before, and it seeming like they want help, I will try and probe deeper into their mind and see if they will let me.
I don't think he has an understanding. Do you know what I mean? I don't know if he can choose to consent to this because I don't think he has a...
I don't know if maybe he'd know it was coming from my direction, but yeah, of course, he would probably just reactively... No.
Yeah, like, yeah, he might know it's coming from your direction, but...
you know what I mean? Poke it at your brain, you're not going to... Yeah.
So, what's the saving throw here?
It's a wisdom saving throw 12.
Okay, he does fail. That's going to be a 5 plus 3 for an 8.
It says, like, something that looms large in its mind.
Yeah, so the biggest thing that looms large in his mind right now is that inside of this armor, he is completely tied up. There is a gag in his mouth. His arms are bound to the inside, and he doesn't actually have any control over his fingers or feet. He can barely move at all. He is completely a prisoner within this armor, and you can feel he just keep thinking. He's visualizing his own death over and over again at the hands of this Loxodon. That's what's looming large for him right now.
Yes, as I learn this, I will look down at the notes that I've had, and I will say, and the other rumors about your group, the darker interests, what would you say to them?
Yeah, I mean, immediately his surface thoughts are, what does he know? What does he know? What does he know? I don't know what you're talking about. Our collective is always been prized for our integrity.
Of course. I mean, I was just speaking of how edgy you can somehow come off. But I think I can form a profile of you here that will interest the Voltaics. They run most of the show in Bragg, so hopefully we will see you there soon. And you all will be staying the night here?
Yes, we're going to be staying here for a few days.
That sounds excellent. How about I buy you all of your performers here? I'm sorry, guest excluded, this being, well, I would hate to say a bribe, but a connection between two of us for any relationship in the future. Perhaps I can buy you all a round of slip.
I personally don't touch this stuff. I need to keep my mind clear to plan. But I'm sure a large majority of my compatriots would take you up on that for sure.
Absolutely. Well, I will put in a word at the bar, and over the next couple days, perhaps.
He nods. Thank you for your profile. We would love an edit, an opportunity to read it over before it gets published. Loxodon says.
Like I said, we will develop a relationship.
And if anybody wants to see a monologue, perhaps I will perform later tonight.
If he's interested, he says, sort of only half as convincingly as he said some of the other things, as he heads back over to drink his drink at the bar and feel less of his sunburn, getting sort of the information he wanted. Oh, he is actually going to go talk to Francis real quick about the prisoner thing. As he rolls up, since Sherrilyn has vacated the seat to go dance like crazy, Plato sits on the stool and sort of whispers, or gets closer to Francis and says, actually, he's going to say this psychically. He can do that again pretty quickly. It only takes a minute for it to go and ungo. He says psychically to Francis, locking eyes with him, "One in the armor back there is a prisoner, and praying to their lover that the Luxoria does not kill him."
Francis would be taken off guard by the fact that Plato is now talking to him in his mind for the first time, and take a few seconds to comprehend what was just told to him, and then look over at the Dragonborn cleric and raise his hand in greetings.
The Loxodon waves. He was looking your way as you look over.
He'll respond to Plato and kind of "Are you sure?"
Yes, we might not want to do anything about it now, but let us not be alone with any members of Saturgi.
Okay, well, I will keep that in mind, and once the rest of the party, and you'll kind of glance over at Sherrilyn on the dance floor, is more able-minded, we can decide whether or not we want to intervene, because as much as I would like to help him, I would not want to get more off track of where we're supposed to go.
Agreed. It is just a warning. Watch your back around them.
You don't think he has a thing for clerics, do you?
I'm hoping not.
Hope so too.
Since Sherrilyn has come back into her mind and found herself on the dance floor, I wouldn't say she's necessarily dancing crazily, but she is dancing enthusiastically. I think as the party one by one has turned to look at her to observe what is going on with her behavior, and they would find that she's actually a very good dancer, and she is very much working in tandem with the shadow here, twirling her, then grasping her by the waist and pulling her close, leading her back and forth in a swaying motion, then spinning her off again. She's clearly done this a few times.
Inara's been applauding you ever since you got up. She's clapping along, she's wooing whenever you make a new move. She's following this show, enjoying every moment.
The bard has a hand drum that he's pulled out instead of the violin, and he's also keeping beat with you, Inara. He's kind of right next to you now, watching the two of them dance in unison.
Francis is going to be sipping the drink that Inara got for him.
It's a shot. You sip a shot. I love that.
Well, actually, technically you're supposed to mix it with water, but when the bartender sets the shot down in front of you, it's absolutely clear, and she would set next to it a glass of cold water, half full cold water. If you pull the shot closer to your face, it is insane. It smells insanely strong. It's a very, very strong, star anise licorice sort of flavor, but it does taste like fire, just straight up. So Inara's going to push the shot towards you and be like, if you don't think you can handle it, you can always mix it with the water, and then she's gonna see what you choose, daring you to just take the shot straight.
Yeah, so Francis is actually going to just take the shot, just straight without the water. It definitely would be something harder than he's used to, but it's not something that would take him completely off guard. He definitely feels the burning going down his throat, and he will grimace his teeth a little bit, but he doesn't show signs backing down or having it take him out, so to speak. And he will look to Inara and be like, that is way more impactful than anything we have back at Kai Hawk. What do you make out of this?
It's just a drink that people enjoy with a good meal. Sort of like a Medean would enjoy a glass of wine. But she definitely looks super impressed that you did the shot and are not having like a volatile reaction or, trying to spit it back up. She was not expecting that from a cleric, and especially someone who's kept his head cool throughout everything we've done so far. You seem to always pick the safer choice. So you've definitely gained some of her favor when making that decision. And then she will scan the room again, enjoying the vibe, the music, Sherrilyn's, dancing. And she'll also glance over to her sister's stable to see how that fiasco's going, if the boy's still crying or not, just for her own entertainment. She doesn't actually care.
Yeah, I think his face is just fully down on the table now, like with both arms. And he's like, at this point, she's just describing other women that he might meet one day to him. That's what's really going on. Here, I promise other women exist. They're great. Here are some details about them as he still has his face like down on the table, just like kind of yelling, "I'll never meet anybody like you again."
Looking over, like as she scans the room, I guess she'll also look over at Francis and Plato. So you two are having a psychic conversation. So would she pick up on any of that, or are you just staring into each other's eyes?
You probably just see us stare longingly into each other's eyes without exchanging any word.
We definitely stare at each other when I make the connection. I think after a moment of us psychically exchanging, I look over at Inara and realize sort of how it, and I smile at her and lift my drink, and looking back over at Leilani and Mikhail, and I say, it is best, yes. Let's get this over with now. Better for everyone.
I don't think there's anything for my sister to get over, but hopefully the Ord boy, she'll say, trying to be kind, will survive. But she turns back to look at him, still weeping. She's like, it's been a minute.
He needs to learn that sometimes people will try and get at him through his heart.
Yes, it does seem easily accessible.
How lucid is Sherrilyn right now?
I was just gonna come to that. Will you give me a con save?
Yes, I can. 11. 10 plus 1.
Yeah, with an 11, you're pretty lucid. The effect is almost completely dissipated by now. It doesn't seem to last that long on you, but it was intense. I will say you were the thirstiest you've ever been in your entire life.
I think with that, feeling the inside of her mouth is quite dry. There's a stinging in her throat from it. She would sort of lift the shadow off and give her a bow at the chest and say, playfully, why don't you patron that gentleman over there, and I'll see you later?
Okay, yes, as long as I'll see you later. I have something very cool to show you if you'd like.
Even though she's flirting with this person, because the drug is mostly worn off at this point, she's trying not to show it, but she is trying to get a read on this person who's been so forthcoming with her, even though she hasn't paid her that much, and she's aware of it based on the interaction with the horses and the meerkats earlier. Could she get an insight roll? Ooh, 5 plus 2 for a 7.
You look her over for the first time now, and you realize how fine the silks that she's wearing are. Like, they're very fine. Like, 2 gold probably means nothing to her. Maybe she's just really into you.
Okay, she'll carry that sentiment with her, sort of passing her off to the Ord boy, hoping to relieve Leilani. And as she does so, will return to the bar and request a glass of water, perhaps 2. She'd insist.
Yeah, she's quick with it. You get 2, you finish the 2. The thirst is not subsided at all as you just down these 2 glasses of water.
Oh, goodness. Are you all right?
She brushes her bags away from her head. She looks quite sweaty. I mean, she was dancing as well. She says, I can see why Leilani was suffering so after taking this substance. What has been going on whilst I was entertaining the entertainer?
I was enjoying the show.
Yes, I heard your clapping across the room. Thank you for that.
Well, I did a little speaking with the members of the clergy over there, and perhaps we could or should discuss it in private rooms.
Do you have a private room?
I don't know. I look over at Enka. What is your vacancies and rate?
We have 2 rooms still free. 10 gold apiece for the night. Oh, and I know that's very expensive. I'm sorry. We're in the middle of fucking nowhere. I apologize. I get few business. I must pay at scale. I'm trying to make something of myself here.
Yes, unfortunately, I'm not particularly rich in my occupation. I can pay for one room, but that is about as much as I am.
Sherrilyn sees Plato fiddling with his coin pouch, and she sends an arm across his chest, like, hold on a moment, takes the gold pouch that she just received for the horse out and tip out the coins for the room, one room, and slides it over to Enka.
All right, that is 2 rooms, please.
Yes, absolutely. Follow me. She leads you down a large stone-shaped hallway. All of this, you can tell, is she work. You look over, and Leilani immediately starts following you, but Mikkel is like, his whole mouth and face are agape as the shadow is right in front of him doing a very intense body dance. His cheeks are bright red.
Mikhail, come on.
I think it's the 3rd call that gets him.
Mikhail.
He hears you, kind of snaps back into attention, and begins to follow you all.
Hopefully she will be back here when we are waiting. In the meantime, come on.
Yeah, these rooms everything in them is made of stone with some down feather pillows and cushions on it, but all definitely made by hand by this earth Djinn, as you are led to a large room with quite a few cots set up.
Everyone in here for a second. Thank you so much for this, Anka.
Of course, please come back. And I'll see you tomorrow, of course. Or later tonight. The party goes nonstop.
Of course. And as soon as I close the door, I turn back and look at the group and say, no one is to be alone with anyone from the clergy. The suit of armor they have with them is a tied-up man that they, I think, are going to kill.
You didn't think this was prudent to share earlier?
Well, I did, and I thought it was prudent to share with Francis, which is what I did. You were on drugs.
Not only that, but I feel like disclosing that with them there in a small bar would not exactly garner the kindest of reactions from them if they got wind of what we were talking about.
Yes, well, I'm aware Mr. Ardavian has certain talents, and I would have heard every word that you said.
Close to a compliment. Be careful.
He is afraid of being killed. And you ascertained this how?
I read his mind.
You read his mind?
Yes, it is a thing that I do sometimes, especially when people seem to be in distress. He kicked me under the table with his foot, apparently praying to the lover, a follower of the lover, not a religion I am of particular.
Inara perks up when you mention that he's a follower of the lover, because to her that means he is most probably, because you haven't mentioned a race.
Well, 1 second. Leilani, Mikhail, no being alone with anyone in the church. You understand?
Leilani, I'm going to sleep here for the next 16 hours. What he does is up to him.
Excellent. All right. I think it's a dragonborn.
A dragonborn that follows the lover is most definitely a Luxorian. We cannot let them keep him or hurt him. We must intervene.
Actually, it just happens that I had plans to meet up with a member of their troop soon.
It wouldn't happen to be that dancer that you've been getting close with?
No, obviously it was the Loxodon. Yes, it was the dancer.
So Loxodon is the one he is afraid of, so I would not be alone with him.
I was being facetious. Yes, it was the dancer. She asked me to come to her room later this evening.
Well, I mean, that's not necessarily related to their darker activities.
She did say something quite cryptic as we departed from our dance. She said, I have something cool to show you later.
That is strange, yes.
Yes, and I couldn't understand exactly what she was referring to. I mean,
I am worried that they would try and kidnap you, honestly.
why do you think they would kidnap me?
I think they are currently holding someone who is a victim of kidnap.
So you think they are traffickers?
We are also in a smuggler's den.
Yes, but there shouldn't be anyone that you can sell people to around here. That should be gone.
They're selling strange, generally wild creatures and drugs. It's not far fetched to assume they might also sell people. I posture this. How about I will follow the shadow to her place of rest later, and you could follow us. And then we will ascertain what exactly it is that is cool.
All right, one moment. He looks down at his hand, considering the magical abilities that he has. He says, well, if we are considering it, if we need to sneak behind them, it might be possible that I could make two of us invisible.
There is something I could do also, but it would help the people who stay in this room.
To be honest with you, I don't know that I want to. Well, if you can protect us, please do so. I don't know if I want to cause a big to-do here in this business.
Well, as you have some special mental abilities, Mr. Ardavian, I also happen to have some similar abilities myself, and I could ward this room such that if there were anyone filtering in or out over the next several hours, then I would know about it.
That would be good to know. I think also this individual was afraid more not of being sold into slavery, but being killed by the Luxodon. I wonder. I think we should follow them tonight. If they're going to kill them, it seems it might be immediate. I remember when we walked in, they said they needed to deal with him before they could get going.
Well, I haven't the slightest where the shadow is staying, and if they are staying together.
Well, there were only 2 rooms open here. I assume either here or in their cart.
There was nobody at the cart when you guys got there. You just saw it. It's painted really, really extravagantly, and it's labeled liturgy. I think you'd also be able to draw the conclusion that the Enkeg is their animal, just because there wasn't another pack animal in the stables.
I think if we want to try and catch them in the act of whatever they're trying to perform on this bound cleric of the lovers, then perhaps we follow whatever the Shadow's invitation was and see what that is, or try and follow them tonight if they are undertaking anything that is suspicious, which it's my belief that they probably would be. Oh, I offered to drug them. I would probably have to go back and pay for that, which I do not have money for.
Excuse me, you offered to drug them?
Oh yes, I thought that maybe if I bought them a round of slips, that they would be distracted enough that we could do some looking around.
Great thinking. And if anyone turns to look at Inara, as you guys have been having this whole conversation, she had curled up in one of the corners with her feet tucked underneath her. She's taken out a whole bunch of crap out of her bags and has been actually working on an infusion, taking a chance of the rest. She has been listening to everything you're saying and is actually making an infusion for you, Plato. She's actually making you a enhanced arcane focus.
Oh, that is very nice of you.
While Inara has previously said crap all over the floor, Sherrilyn would get an idea and she would say, "My lady, is there a possibility you could make slip or something close to it? You know, something that looks like slip?"
Out of character, Robbie, is that something that she could potentially do, or is that something that requires a lab?
You have an alchemy kit. You're an alchemist. This is your whole shit. It'd be like if someone was asking an evocation wizard if they could set a building on fire. Yeah, you can imitate a substance. This is your whole shit.
Okay. It would definitely not have the desired effects that one would be looking for, but I could definitely whip something up if you're trying to trick a few novices.
Well, I'm figuring this way we need not spend more money than necessary, but also from personal experience, I will say sometimes there are individuals who take substances they believe to have certain effects that in actuality do not, and still pretend as if they did.
You're going to poison a batch of fake drugs.
No. That is not what I am suggesting. What I'm suggesting is you offer them something that appears to be slip, smells like slip. They take it, and It is not slip, rather probably a useless substance that just appears as it.
I did say I cannot replicate the exact effects of slip. That doesn't mean that I cannot maybe introduce a different effect, one that could potentially be a little more useful for us. I would still have to go through my bags and see what I can find, but also there is a very handy bartender downstairs that is quite generous with her drinks. Perhaps we could ask her for something to help one of us sleep after such an arduous journey, and I could include that into the mixture.
Then I will volunteer to go down to the bar and ask for something to help me sleep, especially after events that just transpired. I think that's believable.
Absolutely, we say that we are delivering it to it, as I promised.
You could say that you have bought them the round of slip that you had promised and bring it by. And that way, any of them that do decide to indulge could potentially just get a little sleepy, take advantage of the fact that they're an inn, and we would have less to deal with.
So we make fake slip. Inara makes fake slip. We slip portions of a sleeping draft into them. We catch the individuals in their individual rooms and offer them the draft, therefore making parts of them or all of them sleepy. And then we storm the rooms and try to get this cleric of the lover out.
As much as I would like to have a roof over my head whenever we do sleep, I fear as though if we are going to save this cleric, we will not be able to stay in the same place they are.
I mean, we will not get a full night's rest, that's at the very least.
I will say in this moment, the sandstorm sounds do hit on the outside. As the night falls and the sandstorm foretold begins.
Hearing the sounds of the sandstorm and following Plato's comment that we probably won't get that much rest, she goes, "Well, now we have an excuse where this is definitely does not sound like something that's going to pass anytime soon. So we'll definitely have a chance to get that rest later."
Allow me to go get this draught, and once we are finished with, or rather, Inara is finished with this thing that she is making, then I will alarm the door so that Michaela and Leilani are safe, and we will go about our sleuthing. Sherrilyn returns to the bar. She's still standing. She stands between the stools and knocks on the bar top to get Enka's attention.
As you get to the bar, you see the entirety of the clergy are gathered around one central table. All of them jars in hand. They definitely just did a round of slip together, except for the Loxodon, who stands at the end of the table. You see there's a bunch of papers on the table that weren't there when you guys were there previously as well, kind of spread out as they are doing that. The bartender sees you. Yes, what can I do for you?
If you don't mind, a drink that could help me be more at ease, sleepy, if you will.
Her eyes narrow. I don't really love it when people ask for drinks that make people go to sleep at my bar.
Well, I need to rest, and having experienced slip for the first time, I feel too energized to rest. As she's trying to convince the bartender, she's looking through the corner of her eye at these documents that are in front of them.
Yeah, go ahead and roll me a perception check at the documents. And then we're going to need a persuasion check as well.
Okay. First, we'll do the perception check. Completely missed my dice tray. That is a 16 plus 2 for an 18 on perception.
Maps. They are looking over detailed maps. You can't really make out the area of where it is, but the Loxodon is drawing on them, like a pathway. They're definitely planning some sort of route. I will say the armored Dragonborn is not with them anymore.
Does she see him in the booth anymore either? No, he's completely gone. Oh dear.
No, he's not in this room. And now the persuasion check.
Okay, that is an 8 plus 4 for a 12.
Hey, yeah, no problem. I will make you this, but because of the past happenings and stuff, you will have to drink it here in front of me. Is that okay?
She like hesitates for a second, thinking, how cleverly can I get away with this? And she'd say, Sure, that's fine. I understand.
Okay, just give me a moment. It'll be very potent. She turns her back and begins going to work with some herbs she has.
She is standing next to the shadow, and she makes it no secret. She's looking at what they are looking at, which would be the map, and she'd say flirtatiously, "Are you planning on going somewhere?"
We're planning our next show. Where we're going next, yes. You know what? I can't wait any longer. Will you come to my room with me?
What, right now?
Yes.
Well, first, tell me about your next show. What if I want to visit?
We're thinking of maybe going to the port city. They have some nice theaters there.
That's a very long way. You're going across the desert by yourselves.
Eh, Yes, we want some distance from Luxoria. We've kind of overplayed the shows, you know? Now, please, I want to do a special dance just for you. I just got this new thing, and I cannot wait to try it out.
She's mouthing new thing to herself. Yes, I need to retrieve this drink from the bartender. If you could give me a few minutes, just where are you staying? I'll meet you there. You can have a few minutes to freshen up.
So exciting. I am fourth door on the right. We splurged. We all have our own rooms this time, she winks.
I see. Fourth door on the right. Then I'll be with you directly.
I will go prepare. I'll see you all later. And she finger guns everybody as she walks down the hallway. A purple, shiny drink, kind of glimmering, is placed in front of you, Sherrilyn.
Goodness, this is a tall drink. You are generous with your poor bartender.
Gets the job done. She's looking at you directly in the eye.
Yes, indeed. She takes this drink in her hand, plotting how she's going to get away with not actually drinking this thing. And she tries to distract her with conversation and the people here who have just taken a round of drugs. And she says, "Are you aware that they're planning on traveling with their show, leaving Luxoria? See here on the map? They're going into a different territory now."
I'm sure they'll come back. That's the point of giving good service, to get to return business.
That is a fair distance. I mean, have you seen this trip they're planning on taking? It should take many weeks.
The Loxodon wraps up the maps. Yeah, maybe don't touch my maps. Maybe don't touch my maps so much. And he kind of rolls them up and puts them in a case.
I've simply become fans of yours. The dancing of the shadow is quite capsulating.
You should see her contortionist abilities. She can make herself very, very small.
At this point, I think Inara would be coming down. She'd probably finish making the base of the concoction, and we're waiting for the active ingredient. So she's coming down the stairs to see what's taking Sherrilyn so long to come back with the drink.
Perfect. As you're coming down the stairs, she turns to look at you, leaning back so that her elbows are on the bar top and the drink would be in front of her. And she says, "Oh, my lady, you have come at the perfect time." She's like making like a slight tilting motion with the glass.
Yes, I just wanted to make sure you were able to find something to help you with your restlessness. I know you have not been able to get any sleep this whole trip. The desert definitely does not agree with you. But also, I did. She walks up to the bar and, like, leans both elbows onto the bar fully. So she's like half climbing over it. I enjoyed that drink so much that I was thinking maybe we could come up with a new concoction together. I am a budding alchemist myself and would love to learn more about the trade from someone with as much experience as you, as she tries to pull the bartender's attention towards her.
So here's what I'm going to call for it. Usually I would call for a persuasion check from Inara, right? However, she is completely fascinated with this and would love to talk to you about it. So what I'm going to actually call for here is Sherrilyn's going to make a sleight of hand check at advantage as Inara distracts her.
Inara, do you have like a container of some kind hanging off of your belt?
Always.
Always? Okay, perhaps like a water skin that's empty or something like that. As Inara is talking to the barkeep Enka about alchemy related business, and the rest of the troop are gathering up their maps and talking about their journey. She like reaches down subtly without really looking at it and pops the cork off of the water skin that's on Inara's hip. You can feel the brushing of her hand down there. And then she reaches across her own body with the glass of this glimmering purple liquid and begins to pour it into the water skin. With advantage, she rolled a 6.
He holds a finger up. You hear the Djinn say, the thing I'm really working on right now is a cocktail that makes people's skin glow brightly. 1 second, sorry. And she just uses her hand, and as she does so, all of the liquid goes back into the cup, and the cup kind of resets itself. You almost spilled there, darling. And then her face goes right back to Inara as she continues talking.
Would that work on someone with fur?
It is a very interesting proposition. My skin is more like clay, so I've been trying to make it glow that way, but it might be easier with flesh. That's a good point. Let me whip something up.
Do you mind if I join you to learn some more?
Absolutely. Just give me 1 moment. She walks right over to Sherrilyn. I'm going to need you to drink that right now or hand it back to me.
Yes, of course.
Maybe you could hand that drink back and take it up with you, or drink it right before we go up. I would like to join me for a little bit here at the bar while we talk, and I would hate for you to crash. I don't think I have the strength to carry you up these stairs. Perhaps the bartender can hold on to it for you until we're ready to retire for the night.
Yes, that is a excellent proposition, and she takes that as you pretending, maybe not pretending to flirt with her, and though her hand was near your waist before to uncork this water skin, she quickly slides the hand across and hooks it on your other side as if she was intending to hold you instead, and holds the glass out to the barkeep. I think that is an excellent idea on my lady's part, if you don't mind.
She takes it and immediately puts it into a sink. A fresh one when you're ready.
Now that we've diffused the situation a little bit, Inara is going to hop over the bar to the other side. Very genuinely excited to see what the bartender is going to show her with this new concoction.
Yeah, underneath there are like 150 of these small little cubbies, all filled with different ingredients on the immediate other side of the bar. And she's like, let's do something. Let's create something together that makes your fur glow. I'm thinking this, and she just starts like picking stuff out. Grab whatever you'd like.
Inara will grab a few plants that she knows would imbue different colors to the glow, I guess. Just for the fun of it. Not really caring and more hoping to just make a connection with this woman and follow along. And once she's like close enough to her, she'll grab a mortar and pestle and she'll start like grinding up some of these ingredients that she picked out. And as she does so, she'll very casually just start a conversation. So, what are the rules here? It looks like my friends and I are going to be stuck while this storm passes. And I just want to make sure that all of them know what is and isn't permitted in your space. Some of them are very new to this area, as if you haven't noticed already.
It's a good question. Honestly, it's something I'm still kind of working on. And my design brings in kind of, not the best people. So I'm trying to figure out where to be lax, where to be tight. I'm thinking maybe no fighting in the bar. I stop that if that happens. Of course, no asking me for any wishes. That's a hard rule always. Respect the space,
At this moment, Inara would hear these like soft whispering voices in her head, similar to what Plato does, but it's more like a gentle caressing, like soft lapping of water or something like that, and these little tendrils of blue energy kind of curling around her. Sherrilyn is using one of her channel divinity options in this moment. She's using Watcher's Will. You can use your channel divinity to invest your presence with the warding power of your faith. As an action, choose a number of creatures you can see within 30 feet of you, up to a number equal to your charisma modifier. For 1 minute, you and the chosen creatures have advantage on intelligence, wisdom, and charisma saving throws.
I'll take what I can take. Speaking of the clientele that your place may attract, do you just stay out of their businesses, basically? Allow whatever they are here to do to occur? Or are there certain things that you place restrictions upon?
I've run a legitimate business before, and I got to tell you, it was so boring. I just ended up selling wine and ale all day. Nobody wants the special shit. These people, they're adventurous, so yes, I would probably let them get away with it. Why, are you guys committing some sort of crime? She kind of leans in.
I mean, you never know what the day will bring. While I do tend to follow the main laws, she says, due to restrictions placed upon me by my family, I'm sure you understand. It's always fun to color outside the lines a little bit, but also just to know what to keep an eye out for. Like you said, it can get really boring following the rules and just sticking with what's allowed, but while I'm always open to trading new and different substances, I sort of draw the line at trading people, for example. You know what I mean.
Yes, I mean, I am happy that slavery was outlawed as well.
But you and I know just because something is outlawed doesn't mean it doesn't still happen.
I don't know, I've heard that just the cars of Perian are making good on the promise.
I see, and you haven't seen anything like that here.
Yes, I mean, what if one of your patrons you found to be one of these individuals committing such trade?
What is this what-if situation? Do you guys have a hostage with you?
No, but we maybe, and she looks directly at her.
I mean, what would I do if somebody in my bar had a hostage? Like somebody they were keeping against their will. You see the clergy very much can hear her from the booth over here. This is an interesting proposition. What? Tell me more. Give me more of this hypothetical.
I didn't mean hostage. I just meant my friend here isn't necessarily interested in the kind of relationships that some of us entertain, and she's trying really hard to change this context somehow.
I think what my lady is trying to say is that it has not been long since times have changed and stranger things may have happened in a place such as this. I mean, look at the types of patrons that you have here. They are not the typical individuals you might see at any inn. Wouldn't you agree?
Hey, look around. Do you all have a hostage with you? She yells to the clergy.
This woman is dumb.
Does she know?
The bard and the everybody except for the Loxodon is so fucked up over at that table right now, just barely connected to reality, having been on the slip. The Loxodon stands up. Now that is an interesting question. Where is this coming from, my friend? We paid for 5 nights. Why are you suddenly asking a question like this? As he stands up and moves the table a bit to come.
Sherrilyn moves around the stool to stand between the Loxodon and the people who he is approaching and says, was merely a joke. You should return to your revels.
I don't know. I don't know about this. I feel like we pay a price for secrecy, and I don't like being subjected to such questions. Perhaps we find somewhere else to stay.
It was a rhetorical question. Not to who would ask a question like that? Yes, are you holding a slaved person with you? What kind of question is that? Nobody would ask that kind of question.
The really drugged people are like looking at each other like as the Loxodon. Yeah, that is preposterous. It very much is. Okay, I think it is time for me and the rest of my group to get to bed.
Yes, I think we should all get to bed. Right, my lady?
I really don't understand what's happening here. The bartender says, like looking around. Does anybody have a hostage or not? I don't.
She gives the bartender a harsh look and like holds out a hand like, please stop. She returns to Inara's side and leans down into her ear. I think I should be trying to meet with the dancer directly. Do you think you can handle this?
She looks back at the bartender, losing a lot of confidence in this woman's intelligence after that outburst, and goes, yeah, I think I'll be fine over here. Why don't you go meet your friend, and then once you're ready for bed, you can return for your potion if you still find it necessary. And I'm assuming the Loxodon is leaving the bar area?
Yeah, they're going to their individual rooms. He's like leading them like children into their rooms in front of them.
Sherrilyn will follow the troop as they go to their rooms, following the direction of fourth door on the right, and she will make a point of knocking on and opening that door, looking at the Loxodon with like a smirk.
He smiles. Have fun.
And then once the Loxodon and anyone else who's perceivably sober from his troop are out of the space. Inara's going to turn to the bartender and go, so moving on from that fiasco, clearly you don't have an opinion about our earlier hypothetical, but you did say no fighting. Are you against fighting between different groups to help a hostage, so long as it does not directly involve you?
Okay, I have to tell you all, I am not good at metaphor, I am not good at simile, I am not good at any of this. I need to be spoken to directly.
We believe that the Loxodon is holding someone hostage that we would like to help.
Yeah, it makes sense. The man could shamble barely across the room. It makes sense that he's a hostage. Why? I guess is my question. That would decide whether or not I'm okay with it. What if he's like a really bad guy?
And I don't think Inara's had much experience with people like this. She's just used to saying what's on her mind. Then maybe someone with more authority should take care of it. Also, I don't think anyone that comes here has a right to make that judgment, she says.
I mean, yes, I did open an illegal smuggling bar. I don't know what you all want from me. If you want to help a hostage, that's fine. Just do it for the right reasons, and I can justify it, I guess. It's not like there's cops.
Great. Then could I get that drink my friend was also waiting on?
Roll me a persuasion check.
I don't think I actually have any pluses to persuasion. No, I do have a +1, so that's a 19.
Yes, I trust you. You're an alchemist. You know what's right and wrong.
That makes her smile really widely, because her ideas of right or wrong are very fluid. So I absolutely do know what's right and wrong right now, in this moment.
I think you'd find that her idea of what's right and wrong is very fluid as well, as she mixes this drink again and puts it in a water skin for you. Very potent. Please tell her to be careful.
Great. We just didn't want to disrespect your space. That's all.
No problem. Boys, are you ready to close up? You see the top of the chairs are, like, the chairs are moving, but you don't really see anyone moving as they reset, as the little meerkats throughout the room resetting the dining space and, like, cleaning with these little sponges. And
Thank you so much for all of your help. It has been fascinating to learn at your hands. Then Inara's going to return to the room where she left Plato and Francis with her sister and the Ord boy, and to update them about what happened both with Sherrilyn and to finish the concoction she had started, not knowing if necessarily it will be useful right now, but we'll still have it.
Yes, Plato has been, I think, attuning to the enhanced focus you gave me.
Which was a branch that she had picked up from one of the plants that she saw in the desert. She whittled it down to a wand and carved in symbols of lightning around it. And it will now give you a +1 to your spellcasting ability.
Yes, excellent. You see, he says, like, on next to his water arms is like a belt, sort of lesser material that has like these clips on it, and he sort of clips the wand into one of them like a slot, and it sort of hangs down sort of near the water arm like a fascinator. But yes, he's been focusing on that and just trying to focus it through his arm as the water. I think I look at Inara after finishing with the wand and I say, "Where's Sir Stalder?"
Sherrilyn, you knock on the door, and just a couple seconds later, you hear, "Come in."
She opens the door and steps inside.
You don't see her right away. She's in the right hallway, but then you set eyes on her. She is completely naked. She holds in front of her this kind of metallic object. It almost looks silver. You've seen this before. It is a censer, and the front brazier of it is currently lit, and the smoke is covering her chest area. She holds it so that the smoke covers her chest, and the bottom part of it is hanging to cover her lower half as you walk in. Shut the door behind you.
Can she smell it from there?
Yeah, it smells of lavender and other herbs. There's definitely kind of a rose scent that's burning as well. It's romantic.
Okay. Yes, she would close the door, generously eyeing her up and down. This wasn't unexpected. I mean, I think she knew this was the intention of her coming here, and she would say, "Now that is a fun trick."
This is an artifact of the gods.
Is it now? She says, cautiously stepping closer.
This is the censer of the lover.
An instrument of the gods, literally.
Yes, it belonged to him once, and now I will use it to perform the most divine dance.
Just for me, she says, holding up a hand.
Just for you.
I feel like it would be a waste just on me. You are a performer. Shouldn't I support you in your performing endeavors?
We have to wait a little while before I can use it in my shows. I just got it a couple days ago, and I cannot wait to incorporate it. Please, just practice.
Sherrilyn's quite confident that she would be unaddled by anything that could happen as a result of this sensor and breathing in the aroma of it. It's probably something that she has had to go through to be a general in the first place. So she would find a chaise or something to sit on in the room and take a seat, putting her hands over one knee, waiting patiently because she's hoping that eventually someone would try to find her anyway and that she's not in immediate danger.
She, holding the censer, she puts it over her shoulder for just a moment, exposing herself completely, and she reaches over to a table and picks up 2 jars and hands one over to you as she downs the other slip herself.
She chuckles. As she does so, she has cupped her hand over the lid of this jar and has set it beside her, sort of leaning backwards as she comes closer. Mighty eager, isn't that your second dose in the last few minutes?
Third. The smoke begins to billow from the censer as she breathes it in, preparing to dance.
Is this room large enough for you to perform? She continues to ask.
I will see, won't we?
Well, whoa, she says, holding up a hand to stop this sensor. I mean, it's made out of metal from hitting her. She says, it is hot and heavy. Just be careful where you swing it.
She begins performing. As the lavender smoke billows around her, the censer begins to glow to her touch as she performs an exquisite and erotic dance for you, Sherrilyn. 15 minutes pass as you kind of get lost in her emotions, the smell overtaking the room as she performs her heart out. She's just like drenched in sweat and just moving her entire body in all of these unique ways. There's a couple of times where she kind of folds herself in half, where she's just the craziest contortionist as you watch her perform.
She would allow her to perform as much as she wanted, unless she saw that she would be physically struggling in some way. I think she would be watching her endeavors critically, looking to see if she was overexerting herself or something to that effect, if she needed to stop and wasn't, like if she would stumble or lose her balance.
No, she is an absolute trained performer. She stays in each moment. It doesn't take long for the dance to get much more personal as she gets closer and closer to you.
She's comfortable with that. Her legs are 90-degree angle off the front of the chaise. She is already leaning backwards, but she'd give her more space to accommodate her as she got closer. Not touching her, because if she reached out her arm, it would very much limit the range of motion she had with this instrument that she is dancing with. And she would try to continue asking light prodding questions. Have you been practicing with this instrument in private?
Just once. It's really supposed to stay hidden.
Stay hidden from the rest of the troop?
No, from strangers. But you're no stranger. Now will you dance with me?
You couldn't get enough of our dancing earlier.
I feel the movement in me. The dance will turn to something else.
What do you mean?
She leans in for a kiss in response to that.
She lets herself be kissed.
It's passionate. This is what I mean.
She'd close her eyes. In the moment of the kiss, she's not thinking about the dancer in front of her. She's thinking about Diana. She doesn't want to be kissed by someone other than Diana right now.
Let's dance. Put your hand here. She leads it to the censer.
Isn't it hot?
Not on this part. Did you drink the slip?
No.
She's assuming that you did. Yeah, she didn't notice that you didn't. So to her, obviously, this light is dangling in the air and leaving a trail behind. It's really magic to see.
Yeah, she had, as she had leaned back, originally putting the jar kind of behind her, she then leans a little further backwards to accommodate the dancer as she essentially is on top of her lap and would set the jar on the ground underneath the chair so that it wouldn't be seen. She, as she asked her to put the hand on this instrument, she holds out a hand towards it, not touching it yet, and she would kick her head back and kind of like say something that the dancer couldn't actually hear. It's like a muttering to herself as if she was enjoying herself in the moment. She's gonna be casting detect magic.
Yeah. Yeah, you cast detect magic. The smoke is magical. She wears a bracelet that kind of dangles that is magical. And the sensor itself is pure divine magic, glowing with this radiant light.
Does it feel ominous in any way? Does it feel like does she intuit that she shouldn't touch it just by the feeling coming from that?
I would say no. It just kind of glows with this glorious light as you look at it. It's more magic than anything else you've ever seen with the spell, that's for sure. Feels like a holy artifact.
If nothing more than morbid curiosity, I think, then she would put her hand there, allow her hand to be led to this object where she had designated.
You feel power and strength course through the entirety of your body as your hand reaches on it. Do you feel it?
I feel something. That is quite spectacular.
It is love.
Love.
Now let's dance together and make our bodies do beautiful things.
She kind of shrugs, and I think that she would go along with it, feeling this feeling in her body that she's hardly ever felt in her life, amplified 100 times over.
And unless anyone goes in there, I think we're going to cut to black on that scene.
Plato keeps an ear out because she said she was going to come back and ward the room. I think I might have to go look. I go down the hallway and I just listen at some of the doors.
Wait. Don't. Well, she might just be having a good night.
She said she was going to come back. We can't just ignore it if she leaves.
Well, hold on. Did Inara hear the answer when Sherrilyn was asking which room the dancer was in?
You definitely heard her ask where she is.
Right, yeah, and she saw her follow the troop upstairs once they were all returning to their rooms. So she'd be like, yeah, she followed the dancer to her room. So she's probably having a fun night.
She even repeated it on her way out. She said, 4th door on the right. Okay.
We know that those people kidnap people.
How about this? She's in the room behind the 4th door on the right. You could your powers work through a door? Could you?
Of mind reading, no, but I can listen at the door if you know which one you think she is in. Plato walks down and listens, and then you see sort of his face go rigid for a second, and he blushes that way across his chest that he does, not in his face. You see the Lichtenberg figure bright underneath his sunburn, and then he just walks back up the hallway and says, well, we should keep an ear out for the other members in case they decide to kill that man.
Did you hear something you weren't supposed to?
Apparently.
I'm sure that's not the worst thing you've had to do.
Oh, wow. Plato looks at him like immediately sobered up. Well, some things you have to do to make sure people you know aren't getting murdered, and I guess listening to that was one of them.
And Inara giggles, and she's like, I told you she's probably just having a fun night.
Thank you for listening to this episode of The Lands That Make Us. I'm Beck, and I play Sir Sherrilyn Estaldair on the podcast. If you're enjoying what you're hearing, please consider using that extra 3rd level spell slot to cast motivational speech and share our show with your community members who might also be interested in following along on our journey. A big thank you to our collaborative artists, Julia Folkart, Dustin Goddard, Michael Ellis, Lucas West, and Min Albert. You can discover more art, like our cover art, on Julia's Instagram, linked down below in our show notes. New episodes are releasing bi-weekly on Mondays. We hope you join us next time for the Smuggler's Djinn Part 2.